Well, I think for a lot of high quality growth companies where you've seen massive adoption pull forwards. So if you look at something like a PayPal, where they were gaining share of a growing market for a long time, growing payment volume, mid-20s year on year for many years. But you've seen a big acceleration in that. Amazon's been a beneficiary. But what I'd say what's happened with those is there's been a structural pull forward in demand. It's not cyclical, it's secular. So to give an example, if you're looking at Woolies and toilet paper consumption, there's this huge spike, but the reality is end consumption and demand hasn't changed for toilet paper pre and post COVID. But what has changed with e-commerce is you got a lot of people who never shopped online before, who suddenly were forced into giving it a try, and now they like it. And you got people who bought some stuff online, but maybe not everything, and suddenly realized, oh, well, I can buy groceries, I can consume content, there are a lot of options, and that's on the consumer side. On the merchant side, you had all these merchants who, many of whom were kind of late to selling online, realized I need to change my business model to meet customers on their terms, and started selling online. And probably are going to find that they like it, and they're not going to move back from it. So we think there's been this big structural change. So for those businesses, even though the share prices have run pretty hard, we think that's for a very good reason, where you've just had this yank forward basically of 3 years. And for some of these businesses, their competitive advantages got stronger. If you're looking at, say offline retail, so brick and mortar, what we've seen with those companies is a lot of the share price has been hard. Some of them will probably bounce back, but in a lot of cases, I don't think a lot of that demand is coming back. And it reminds me a little bit of something like, shifts away from yellow pages during the GFC, where when you have these big exogenous shocks, disruption gets, change, it's pulled forward. So again, to the positive, stuff goes online. With offline, a lot of that demand's just never coming back. PayPal has been gobbling up share of a growing market for a long time. PayPal is not near the most widely used payment option in the world today, but it's a lot bigger than what people think. Very well run, gaining share of a growing market, powerful network effects, unique and enduring IP. And even on the loyalty side, building those relationships with other major financial services firms, but also with merchants. Once you get on, the big trick with payments is you have to actually get on the basket list. You have to have your little tile as a payment option. But once you're there unless you screw it up. And there's nothing there that they've screwed up. So big picture, we think it's very well positioned to keep going. And we had a big stake in PayPal coming into COVID, but it's increased our conviction. Because again, you've just seen this big pull forward, and PayPal, which is uniquely positioned because of PayPal's brand stands for trust and convenience. And a lot of people are suddenly shopping online at merchants they might not have done before. They have the comfort to do that because they can use PayPal. So, big picture, it's a business we've, for a long time, had a lot of enthusiasm behind, but even more so today.